Devanshi. Today I'll be telling you about the water cycle. What is the water cycle? The water cycle is the continuous movement of water on Earth. But where does all our water come from? Our water used to be magma. Ancient Earth was full of magma, and when water cooled down from magma, the Earth became very cold, and water was able to resist. And if I asked you, where does a bicycle tire start from? You wouldn't be able to answer that because a bicycle tire is a circle. There's no starting point to a circle. So the same way, if I asked you the starting point of the water cycle, you'd say the same thing. There's no starting point to the water cycle. So I'll start explaining by the ocean. The sun makes the ocean water evaporate, and the vapor condenses into clouds. Now let me tell you, what does evaporation mean? Evaporation is the process of which liquid turns into vapor. And what does condensation mean? Condensation is the opposite. Condensation means vapor turned to liquid. And here's a fun fact. Water vapor can also evaporate through plants. But this is not called evaporating, this is called transpiration. Now that the clouds have been formed, what comes next? When the clouds are full of condensation, then they precipitate. Precipitation means like rain, sleet, hail, snow, you know what I mean? And when all the precipitation has melted and is a blob of water, then they follow the lakes and rivers and head back to the ocean. And then the cycle starts all over again. Now that I've said a bit about the water cycle, let's do an experiment. Okay, so for this experiment, we're gonna need mittens, plastic wrap, salt, a spoon, a small transparent bowl, a big transparent bowl, ice, and boiled hot water. You're gonna first take your boiled hot water and pour it in this big transparent bowl. But before you do that, you're gonna have to put on your mittens so you don't burn yourself. Okay, carefully. Pour this. That was pretty scary. So now we're gonna add our salt. And since this water is supposed to be our ocean, we're adding the salt because it'll give the oceany look. And we'll mix it. Next, you're gonna put your small transparent bowl in the middle of the hot water. The small transparent bowl represents our land. Then you're going to take the plastic wrap and carefully place it over. Let me just put this down for a second. Carefully place it over the big transparent bowl. Does this look good to you? Yes, it does. Now we're gonna add our ice, which will represent our cool atmosphere. You don't necessarily have to put it in this order, but I like to get very creative when I touch ice. That seems enough. I shouldn't add more. So now I will let it rest for about 10 minutes. and then we'll check what happens. Now that 10 minutes has ended, let's go over about what these materials are and what they represent. This bowl represents our ocean, the small bowl inside represents our land, this plastic wrapper represents our clouds. And remember, when making this experiment, try to make this plastic wrapper have no gaps, so the air outside will not reach the air inside. And last but not least, this ice is supposed to be our cold atmosphere. Now, what do you notice? I noticed two things. First of all, I noticed that the sides are foggy. These sides are actually precipitation, not condensation. And this above part is condensation, not precipitation. Here, let me tell you what happened. So this ocean water went up, evaporated, and hit this cold ice. Together, they mixed and made condensation, which is why you see these little dewdrops forming. Then when there was a lot of condensation, I saw that the precipitation formed, and these dewdrops began to kind of fall down into our land, which you're gonna see after we take our whole thing off. And I hope you can also see in the sides. So now, are we ready to take this off? So let's start with our ice. Carefully take this off. Now it's the hard part. We have to take this plastic wrapper off. But there's one thing to remember. Try not to mix this plastic wrapper's water with the warm water, because that will just ruin the whole experiment. So let's carefully take it out. It's very sticky, so that's why I should put this down here. So yes. Now let's take our land. Ooh. There's precipitation. If I had left this in much longer, like 1 day or so, this whole bowl would actually be pretty full. But it's good for how much precipitation happened. So in conclusion, this is what the water cycle happened. The ocean, the sun. The sun evaporates water from the ocean. The water from the ocean turns into vapor and condenses with the clouds. And the clouds get so much condensed that they start to precipitate. And to sleet, rain, snow. And then the whole cycle starts all over again. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new. And I really hope you try this at home because it's very fun and educational.